Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi.
Hello. This is our first ever small business spotlight as part of our Saige community. So I am so excited to introduce Anne. Hi, Anne. Thank you for being part of this today with us.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
And I would love for you to just share with our listeners your business.
Sure. So I own A to Z Event Rentals. We are a luxury event rental company in Pennsylvania. So we service the South Central Pennsylvania, Southeast Pennsylvania, and Maryland markets. We provide a lot of luxury rentals. We do a lot of dinnerware, a lot of different styles of chairs, lounge furniture, a lot of really fun additions to events. Yeah.
That's amazing. And how long have you been in business?
10 years this year. May was our 10th anniversary, so we are past 10 now.
Happy anniversary.
Awesome.
How exciting.
Awesome. I came across an article that was saying the percentages of businesses that make it past the year 3 mark is something like 10%. But even just to make it past the 10-year mark is something like 2%.
It's crazy. And I remember when I started looking at other companies that would be like established since whatever year and just being like, man, they have it all together. And it's just so crazy to be sitting here with like a little time under my belt. Not that it's like generations or anything, but and just still feeling like every day is a new mystery to solve. It's so funny the perspective you have once you've been at it for a minute.
I love that. Now, how many years in your industry? So you're in luxury rentals.
Yes.
You had your own business 10 years, but you didn't work in that before. So it's not like you worked somewhere and started your own business, right?
Nope. 10 years ago, I started fresh in the wedding industry all by myself. I was a dental hygienist before that, so I didn't have any training formally from any other vendors, and did a lot of learning in those first couple of years about the industry and about, what the clients needed, and made a lot of really good connections that brought me here today.
That is awesome. So what had you start this? So you're a dental hygienist, and I mean, a lot of people, they go to school for that, and then, that's kind of their career path. So what had you say, let me rent things to people?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So I also went to school. I graduated when I was 21 years old, went out into the world, and on my very first day went, nope, that's not it. And I had just invested all this time and effort into that education. And I, tried to push through, tried to convince myself that it was going to be fulfilling, but I was looking at a very long career ahead of me. And I actually remember I temped for a while. I was working for a dental temp agency, and I remember having a day where I was working with another hygienist who, it was her last day, and she was looking back and reflecting on her career over lunch, and she was just like, I wish someone would have told me when I was younger that I was going to work for all of these years and this is what I was going to have left to show for it. And she was lamenting, and it's really sad to think of that now. But she was saying, like, she didn't have a retirement. That career often, at least at the time, didn't have benefits. I don't really know what that world's like anymore. But didn't have benefits, didn't have a retirement. It was kind of just, and I thought, man, I could make a change now. So that was kind of what inspired the thought of what else could I be doing. I've always had a creative side. I always get this wrong, but I like to call myself a right brain person in a left brain person's body, where I love and appreciate design so much. I can't draw, paint, or do anything creative like that. So that's what brought me into this, where I was like, oh, I could be a photographer. No, I couldn't. I could do, design of some kind, not my thing. What I can do is own things that are really pretty and then do the logistics side of it very well. And then, bring a reliable product in that world and let other people handle the design of it. So I work with a lot of event designers and planners who take my inventory and turn it into really beautiful things. And that's just absolutely the best marriage of those two possible worlds.
Oh my gosh, I love that, right?
You orchestrate everything. That's just as good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Seeing the potential, that is creative as well, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's another form of creativity.
It is, for sure. But it doesn't necessarily require those fine motor skills that my lovely, talented friends have that I seem to have missed out on.
That's okay. You know how to pull the talent together, and you know how to align the right people for what needs to get done. So that's amazing. So what was kind of, when you got your business started, and you were doing it just on the weekends at first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I started, I bought 200 like basic white folding padded chairs and was just going to be, it was supposed to just be a supplemental thing. I don't even know if I realized this was like going to be the long-term path, but I was like, I love the events world and this is something that I can do right now. So, you know, bought a trailer and started working together with my business partner at the time. Who got these events on the weekend, you know, and it was supposed to just be, I was temping at the time. So there was a lot of like fluctuation on my work schedule. So it was kind of supposed to just supplement that. I don't know that I ever realized how far this was going to go. It was just supposed to be like some side cash while my career took off.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So this started 10 years ago, but you're a mom,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So, and your oldest is, how old is your oldest?
7. She'll be 8.
So you started this business, and then in the midst of it, probably really scaling.
Yeah.
The family started.
It did. And actually, I had chosen, I always knew I wanted to be a mom, and I had chosen the dental path because I was told, there's a lot of flexibility. It's a great career for moms. And then I got into it and realized that that's not really the case. You have to be at work to make money. And a lot of those offices, for good reason, need you to be there consistently. So it wasn't that I kind of envisioned this like set your own schedule world, and it doesn't really work that way in the real world. So even before I had children, I remember just thinking I really need to get out into something else where I can have flexibility in my own scheduling. And that has definitely become instrumental over the years as I've had children, had infants. Now, you know, girls have field trips now, and we have all sorts of daytime commitments with them. And it's so nice to have a team behind me, first of all, who can continue to function in my absence. But, you know, that just kind of really brought it full circle.
Oh my gosh, I love that. What an amazing story. And I'm sure it's inspirational for so many people that are just getting started. But I'm really curious, when did you know that this was something that was really going to take off? Like at what point did you,
That's a great question. I set a goal my first year. I started in May, so it's kind of a weird time of year. I didn't know it at the time, but it was a weird time of year to enter this industry. And I said, I want to do 10 events this first year. That's my goal. I want to connect with 10 couples and do chair rentals for 10 weddings, and I did 40. And then I was like, oh, I think we got something here. And that quickly turned into, well, you know what goes really good with chairs is tables. And we got tables, and then another style of chair. And then it just kind of really, I was like, we could snowball this pretty well. And that's really what's happened. We have about 50,000 items in our rental inventory now.
That is amazing. And I think that's where you're incredible. At, right? You're at your office right now and you're showing.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
That's amazing. Aw. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who are trying to build their own business from the ground up?
I think that the biggest thing that's gotten me to this point is probably just stubborn, sheer determination. My team kind of makes fun of me for it, but I'm the eternal optimist, and as soon as something goes wrong, we just regroup, plan B, let's go. And I think I usually have a plan B, C, D, E, F all the way down, and it's just, you just come at it from every angle until you find what works for you. So there's definitely been a lot of like, let's try this strategy, let's try this, you know, just right on down through.
So I have a question for you, Anne, building on that. I wonder, so I always say entrepreneurs are eternal optimists, right? You have to be optimistic in order to be in business because you get so many different hurdles in your way, right? And I like how you said, I've got plan A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you come across someone who's just starting into their business and they come across a hurdle and that stops them in their tracks? Like they just... I don't know if you've witnessed it. I've witnessed it a few times that, you know, you're just like, no, man, you can get over it this way, or you can get it over this way. And they get dead stop in their tracks and they don't push forward. How does that make you feel?
I mean, I do empathize. I get it. It can be really disheartening, especially when you come into something with, you know, all of the sunshine and rainbow expectations, and then it's hard. It's a different kind of hard than I think a lot of us encounter before we're in business for ourselves. And it really is something you end up meeting head on every day. Like you kind of have to get used to hardening yourself to that and just continuing to persevere through all of those things. So empathy is the most prevalent emotion, I think, but also just I would love to just encourage those people to take the next leap, keep coming at it. A day of defeat isn't the end of the road. The term "don't quit on a bad day," that's always been my motto. There have definitely been some hard times, but if you can get through that hard time and then reassess and decide where you're at then, and regroup and then say, is this still what I want, or it's not? And if it's not, that's okay. But I think you just kind of have to not let those defeating moments define where things go from here.
That's
Fantastic
so true.
answer.
Yeah, love that. Now, what do you think is the kind of most critical factor for long-term success in business?
I think just passion. Honestly, I can't imagine doing what I do on a daily basis for something I wasn't passionate about. So if what you're doing has a fire in your bones, then letting that fuel you the entire way is kind of what I think determines success. If you don't believe in what you're doing, it's hard to continue to, knock on doors and overcome obstacles and do everything you have to do no one's going to push your business the way that you'll push your business. And if you don't have that motivation, that passion behind you, it's going to be really hard. But if you believe in what you're doing and you believe that you have something to offer, I think that that's kind of what pushes you on the hard days and on the good days.
I love that.
100%.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
So, and you service a kind of a specific region in Pennsylvania, right? Like,
yes.
What's the arc? Like, if somebody were interested in doing business with you, one, how would they contact you? Socials, email, all of that. How do they get a hold of you, and where do you serve best?
So Instagram's great. That's probably the easiest social media platform. I probably will direct you to email if we're going to have a more in-depth conversation. But if you just want to reach out and connect, Instagram's a great, just like, hey, this is us, and let's, follow each other and kind of, But I think for more in-depth, like specific event inquiries, availability, all of that, our email address is going to be the best way to reach us.
Perfect. Absolutely. So, all right. Yeah. Well, and what an inspiration you are. I love this. I mean, to be able to do this, and then you have 3 children now, and you did it's not like you were an expert at something and said, you know what, I could do this better in my own business. You didn't open your own dental hygienist office. You know what I mean?
No.
You did a hard turn into something completely different, and look at the success it has been for you. So cheers to you. That's very exciting. And just best of luck. We're so glad that you were a part of this with us and part of our, Saige Consultants growth community. Just thank you for being on this with us, and good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.